Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Countdown Show. I am Rehanat Ojo Oba Ogunoiki, and I have here with me my lovely sisters Camila and Zara.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's always nice to have you guys. How are you guys doing?
Alhamdulillah, we're doing really well. How are you?
I'm great. I'm good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
With Ramadan coming to an end, I hope we're making the best of this holy month because it is just this 1 month. And now we have the next 10 days approaching. I hope we're going to make very good use of it. Let us head over to the Imam to hear what he has to say.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Distinguished viewers at home, making the last 10 days of Ramadan count is for you to see yourself as Muslims who are taken to the call of Allah at the beginning of Ramadan by responding to Allah Azza wa Jalla when He asks you, Kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. That fasting is prescribed unto you like it has been prescribed for those before you so that you could become pious. As we are winding down, the tendency for every human being is that there will be the law of diminishing return. Naturally, you have some setback on what you have been exerting yourself in act of righteousness, but this is a time where you need to double up your action. This is a time where you need to reinvigorate yourself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Quran al-Kareem that ayyama ma'adudat, for the period of Ramadan that you're going to fast is either 29 or 30. So these last 10 days are the days where the Prophet of Islam Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that وَآخِرُهُ خِتَرٌ مِّنَ النَّارِ. The last 10 days is a period where you have the emancipation of a servant, and for such servant to become an inmate of Al-Jannah. These last 10 days, you have to make it count. How do you make it count? It's for you to hand Al-Jannah from Allah Azza wa Jalla. How do you hand Al-Jannah? It is for you to ensure that now it is for you to double up your ibadah. Number one, you need to be watchful of your salawat. Khamsa salatu farahid, the 5 daily prayers. You have to ensure that you will be in the mosque before the adhan. Let the muhazzin call the adhan while you're already in the mosque. Making the last 10 days count is when you need to exert yourself more in sadaqah. You need to give charity more. These last 10 days, you need to now see yourself as a servant of Allah who humble himself, who is going to be exert himself at taqarrubu bil masjid. Attachments to the mosque will be more. Now you need to now know that this is the period when the Quran was revealed. The last 10 days, you need to ensure that you are also closer to the Quran. Making sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you amongst those who is going to overlook his shortcomings on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. The last 10 days are the days where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to do afu for all his servants. The last 10 days, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open the door of Al-Jannah and will be asking, who are those who are going to receive my mercy? Making the last 10 days count require that you, as a servant of Allah, Hamas is forgiveness, Hen is forgiveness, Hamas is reward, holy these last 10 days. Making the last 10 days of Ramadan count require that you, are able to prepare to give your charity in the last 10 days of Ramadan, that is Zakatul Fitri, making the last 10 days of Ramadan require that you again stand up at night. For Prophet of Allah said, مَقَامَ لَيْلًا إِيمَانًا وَإِكْتِسَابًا غُفْرَ اللَّهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ. Whoever stand up at night, these last 10 days, you should stand up. Like the Prophet used to do. These last 10 days, he will stand up and he would abandon his bed and he will do more. If your tahajjud is just 1 hour before, you have to increase it to 2 hours now. If it is 2 hours, you have to double it to 4 hours. Making the last 10 days count require that you, as a servant of Allah, make the best out of this time by exerting yourself more in righteous deeds so that you can earn His bliss in Al-Jannah. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the wherewithal to be able to perform all these righteous deeds and accept it from us as act of ibadah. On the day when He's going to call, Ayyuha Sahimun, where are those who are fast? Udkhulu fil Jannah, enter into Al-Jannah, fi babul Rayyan, in the gate of Rayyan. May Allah count you and I among those who are going to hand that reward. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome back. The Imam just told us how to make use of the last 10 days. I mean, it's really important that we make the best out of the last 10 days. So I'm going to come to you, Zara. How do you intend to make the best of these few days?
Well, as a mum, I have a young baby. He's 4 months old. So I know lots of the mums out there can relate with me. It is hard to get all your acts of ibadah on point. But one of the tips that I've learned this Ramadan is to really focus on our intentions. So even if I'm feeding him or I'm playing with my 4-year-old, whatever I'm doing, set my intentions to be a way to draw closer to Allah. One of the intentions I've been having this Ramadan is that Allah helps me to raise righteous children. So, in speaking with them, playing with them, going over Quran, feeding, whatever I'm doing to take care of my home, I set my intention that Allah accepts it as an act of ibadah. So setting and stacking my intentions is the top and just remaining mindful throughout the last 10 days to make every moment count. Inshallah.
Inshallah, I think my last 10 days is going to be just a continuation of the whole Ramadan, basically, because of course we know it's not just about the last 10 days. So I just try to do the same things I've been doing the whole Ramadan, just like she said. When it comes to intentions, it's all about just setting the intention. Everything you're doing, just make sure maybe you're doing zikr in the kitchen. I'm doing my zikr, I'm listening to lectures and things like that. But of course, I'll try to be more intentional with the Quran and just try to read a bit more Quran, inshallah.
One of the perfect du'as actually for the last 10 days of Ramadan is Allahumma innaka afu'un tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna, and that is, Allah, you love to pardon, so pardon me. So, I think that's perfect for how you're feeling. I think how a lot of people feel during Ramadan, like, so I can even do all of this, but after Ramadan or beforehand, I'm not up to this level, so we just continually ask for Allah to pardon us and to make us better and, keep up whatever we've been able to start during Ramadan, continue on.
Maybe you might say make it easy.
Ameen.
Right about now, we're going to join Jamila in the kitchen while she makes acha. Yum, yum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It's so incredible when you think about the numerous kinds of foods that Allah has blessed us with to eat and nourish our bodies. One of such is acha. It's kind of a less known grain, but it's really getting popularity these days. Acha is also called fonio. It's a tiny little grain that's packed with nutrients. It's actually from the millet family. I'm Jamila. Welcome to Jamila's Diary. So today I'll be making acha porridge with panke. Now, for my acha porridge, it's a really simple porridge, kind of like oat porridge. So I'm just going to boil some milk, in which I'll add my acha to. And acha is used for a variety of things. We have acha jollof. You can add them to your soups. You can add them to salads. You can make like acha salad. It's just really versatile. And so I'm going to top off my acha porridge with some fruits. So you can use your favorite fruits and nuts. So you can see I've got some fruits here. I've got some seedless grapes and some kiwi. You can top them with strawberries if you like, just to make them healthier. Of course, acha is packed with nutrients, but you want to up the ante with this. And so for my pancake, I'll be making a mix with some milk, some sugar, and some yeast. So I'm sure you'll be wondering by now, how come, foods from northern Nigeria have, yeasty things, and all that. But it's due to the Arabian and Asian influences on our foods. All right, so now I'm going to make my pancake mix. What's the name, right? All right, so I've got here some warm milk, some sugar, some yeast. Once I mix it up, I'm just gonna cover it and let it sit so it can rise for a while. So it's about a spoon of my yeast. It's fine. I'm gonna add some sugar. I want to sweeten it a little. This is good. And then I'll mix with my warm milk. So now I'm just going to cover it up with cling film and put it in a warm oven. Let it rise for about 30-40 minutes. Okay. I'm just going to cover this up and let it sit for about 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm going to place it in my oven. It's not on. You just need to put it in a warm place. So it's about time that I make my acha porridge. So I've got some milk in the pot, so I'm gonna heat this up. So I've got some milk in the pot, so I'm just gonna heat this up. And once it starts boiling, I'll add my acha, which has been washed and drained already. So this is my acha, and it's really good for you. It's gluten-free, so if you're intolerant to gluten, this is a great grain for you. It's also rich in fiber, so it's a good source of energy that doesn't shoot up your blood sugar, so it's great in regulating blood sugar. So it's also good for your skin. It strengthens your hair and nails. It just has so many benefits. All right, so my milk has come to a boil already. I almost forgot that. Okay, so I'm gonna add grains now. So you've got to be careful here because acha thickens up quite fast, and you don't want to add too much before you get a pot full of acha and you're trying to, lighten it and add more milk and lighten it. So I'm gonna stir this. You have to keep watching for a while. It's so delicious. It's so delicious. You'll be asking yourself, why haven't I tried this, With all the numerous health benefits of acha. When we come back, my acha will be cooked and I'll be ready to make my pancake. All right, so let's take a look at my pancake mix. Let's see how it's doing because it's about 40 minutes now. Oh, okay. This is great. Like, it's risen already. So the yeast has done its job. You can see air bubbles, like, oh. All right, so it's nicely risen. It looks amazing. Like, you can see the air bubbles. So the yeast has done its job. This is good. I just love the smell. Like, good job. So now I'm just gonna heat up my pan. I'm gonna make my pancake inside. We just need a little bit of oil. This is not going to be deep fried, but I'm gonna fried in oil. So just a little bit of oil on my pan. This is just good enough. So you want to dip your hands in some water so it doesn't get sticky when you try to drop it in the pan. Okay. So I'm just gonna scoop some. All right, so I'm gonna scoop some. This you have to do on low heat, so. Okay. So you put it in and you spread. Let me add. Okay. So you spread it round. So this is nice and round. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just as long as you spread it around in your pan. Okay, it's turning out good already. Okay, all right, so this is good. This one. So this looks good already. Okay. So you want to loosen it up by the sides and make sure it's thoroughly cooked. Okay, I still have an undone part here, so I'm just going to flip it over. Make sure it's cooked. Okay. It's nice and golden. All right, so a little bit of oil. Dip my hands in the water and then I scoop some. And you can add some chopped onions and peppers if you want, some chopped onion and attarugu if you want to your mix. Okay. Remember to do this on low heat. You want it to cook evenly. You can grease your pan some more if you find that it's sticking around the side. So I'm just gonna, yeah. So this is just perfect. Okay. There's never Ramadan in my house without panke. It's impossible. When we come back, my panke will be done and I'll be ready to serve my panke with my acha porridge. Okay. My acha porridge and panke is ready. This looks so beautiful. Look at the colors with the kiwi and the seedless grapes. So nice. I need to have a taste of this. This is absolutely delicious. It's so creamy. It's just really different, and the tart of the fruits just all comes together. You really need to try this at home. Really, if you've not had acha before, this is the right way to do it. Jazakallah khair for watching. Don't forget to join me tomorrow, inshallah, for another very interesting episode of Jamila's Diary. Remember to follow us on our social media pages at Maggie_Nigeria on Instagram and at Maggie Nigeria on Facebook. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome back from the break. Ladies, let's get into the topic of the day. I'm excited about this. How did you know your husband was the one? Like the one. Camila, you're first.
It sounds cliche to say I just knew. But, I just felt like I just knew. I don't know. It was just an instant connection.
Something we knew.
Yeah, just knew. Yeah, I just knew. And then, I think with prayers and deliberation, that's knowing got stronger, and I just decided that okay, yeah. How about you?
I think funny enough, I'm in a similar position to Camila. You just kind of know. I got engaged within 3 weeks of meeting my husband. So yeah, from the first salam alaikum to him coming to meet my dad. So I think what really helped for me was that we were introduced by mutual family friends, and at least 3 different sets of people who knew both of us were like, yeah, you guys are perfect for each other. So alhamdulillah.
Yeah. But do people think like that was wild to meet someone and within 3 weeks you guys were engaged? How did you feel about that? Like, were you confident enough, or were you scared?
I think another thing that actually made it really easy for me was that our parents knew each other. Okay. So my dad knew his dad. So, you know, when I first told my dad, oh, you know, there's somebody who is interested, you know, and he was like, who? And I said, Hamid, why can't you? I was like, oh, no problem, okay. Literally, it was just like that. So I think that it really helps when the families know each other, even though I never knew him, but our families are from similar Muslim communities back home. And so when you have a certain reputation, and your parents are, okay, this person, that person, I think it really helps for the children to be like, okay, that's a respectable family. I'm happy for my daughter to go there. I'm happy for my son to go there. And a lot of the hurdles and difficulties that come with finding a spouse, I think you can overcome it.
Yeah.
Trying to find that balance between dating, courtship, marriage, because it's a challenge that a lot of young people face.
Yeah.
How do we stick to the Islamic guidelines with regards to finding a spouse while overcoming the modern challenges and pressures, you know, that requires dating? Not everybody has that perfect, you know, you're introduced, you meet someone and you tie the knots, chap.
Yeah.
You know, it's a reality. People a lot of the time meet their potential spouses in university, and how do you keep it halal? You know, don't transgress the boundaries, because at the end of the day, we know in Islam what is haram is clear, what is halal is clear. But yeah, I think that's potentially a topic for another day.
I think it's mostly the word, well, not to, like we very say, it's a topic for another day, but it's mostly the word and the definition of it. Like, what is dating? When we say dating, is it, you know, in the Western sense? Because some people you can use that word dating, but it doesn't necessarily mean maybe there's anything physical involved. I like to use the word courtship.
I love courtship.
Yes, I like to use the word courtship. Like, you're getting to know each other. Of course, you need to get to know the person before you get married to them, before you commit your whole life.
Yeah, but with that intention, I think intentions are very important,
yes,
and actions
definitely
are based on intentions.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you are courting, there's a certain understanding that this is us getting to know each other for marriage, not just for play, kind of thing. And I think that distinction is very important to make clear.
So, ladies, one more question. What advice, or what would you like to say to fellow sisters who are, can I say, searching or looking for spouses?
Okay. This kind of relates to what she just asked about the checklist. I would say not to have a rigid checklist, because even Allah says, you know, sometimes you might dislike a thing that's actually good for you, or like something that's bad for you. So you don't really know. You can't have something written in stone like, oh, my husband must be this, he must be that, he must be that. Really, in future, you don't know what your life is going to be like, what kind of circumstances will come your way. My point is, just don't be too firm, like be flexible. Of course, yes, be open. You don't know what would be good for you. So definitely have your foundation. I say back to, again, Allah, back to the deen. Have your foundation of wanting someone who loves Allah and who is trying to please Him. And once you're also doing that, I think things will just flow. If you're getting married to somebody who has the fear of Allah and who is trying to live their lives according to the Sunnah and according to the religion, then you can be rest assured that kind of person, in times of turmoil, in times of problems with family, yes, he's going to support you, he's going to respect you, just like the Prophet has respected his wives. He's not going to, when something bad happens, you can be sure that you will probably find him in the mosque to go and cool off, rather than hit you, or rather than go, bad places, different things. So my point is just having that foundation of the deen in what you're searching for, someone that has the deen embedded in their hearts, and then from there, inshallah, everything would just, you can be sure that the person would, be a good person. Even when things are not really going well, they would not disrespect you. They would not go against how Allah has commanded them to treat their wives. So that's my main point. Yeah, how about you?
So I think that my piece of advice for anyone looking to get married, let me see. There's so many. There's so many. But if I'm to give one, I would say that it's what I've said already, that treat your marriage as an act of worship. And so, set your intentions to please Allah with whatever you do. And I think that will guide your steps. Because a lot of the time, this is an emotional thing, obviously, marriage. And a lot of time you think, how am I going to know my husband if I don't know him for years? How would I, and you see a lot of cases of people who might date for years and get married and they have a divorce. And, it's Allah that puts that love in your marriage. And remember that. So whenever you're looking for a spouse, remember that Allah is the one who's going to make that relationship work. So, try not to go against Allah's will, to please a guy, and you're displeasing the creator. Always put Allah at the center of that relationship and that, in your intentions.
Yeah, for me, I think it's really important to pray. I mean, is there anything you do without praying, especially when you're seeking for a spouse? For me, I think it's really important to pray. And with so many things that we hear on social media these days, I think it's also important to know your self-worth. So you know what you now in your checklist, like you said, you need to be realistic, but you should also know what you're worth, so you do not settle. Because you cannot settle for Bayo and then you're liking Alani. Like, you need to know what you deserve, and that's what you should, can I say go after or settle for.
Don't settle.
Like, you need to settle for what you really want. Don't settle for less.
Don't settle for less.
Yes.
And don't marry potential.
I'm sorry. You know what? That's for another day. All right. Thank you.
Don't marry potential.
Okay. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you all for tuning in to this interesting episode of The Countdown. Remember to like us on our social media pages on Twitter at HowTVAfrica, on Instagram and Facebook at HowTVAfrica, and on YouTube. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at HowTVAfrica. Masalam.
Wa alaikum.
Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan ya Habib. Ramadan, Ramadan, ليتك دوما قريب.